Hello and welcome back to Tuna Tuesday. This is the final Tuna Tuesday. We have the presenters' cars to sort of finish it up. So up first we have got a Ford Escort RS Cosworth. This one was made by Stevie, who some of you will remember from the Tech It series we kind of briefly did, and some messing around on World of Tanks. This one in particular has got 243 horsepower, so it's pretty good on power. It only weighs 2,100 pounds though, making this one of the lightest cars. It's not quite the lightest, but it's very, very lightweight, which surprised me actually quite how light this Escort is, because the Escort isn't exactly a small car. You know, I'm not surprised that MX-5s are lightweight, but yeah, this is a very, very light car. It is rear-wheel drive, I believe, if I remember rightly. Anyway, this car is, well, if you look at the amount of sort of aero parts, look at the size of that blue and rear wing on it, it's not really surprising quite how stable this car is. It really is a very, very good car. You can sort of throw it at a corner and there's no understeer, and it will not oversteer no matter what you do with it. Okay, I guess if you yanked on the handbrake there would be some oversteer, but yeah, this is a very, very, very planted car, making it very quick through the corners. However, there's always the sort of trade-off. Quick through the corners tends to mean it's slow on the straight, and this is the slowest car we've had in a straight line. It barely reaches 114. I'm guessing, although I'm not sure, I should have probably checked the setup, that that's because there is a huge amount of downforce on this car. It would explain why it's so good in the corners, although Stig did kind of run a little bit wide through there. Anyway, it is on to the flying lap for the Escort, and my phone just went off, so if you heard that, ignore that. Going up to the first corner, gets turned in very, very nicely. As you can see there's no running wide this time. It's very, very quick through these corners, I have to say. It's got some of the fastest speeds through these corners, although of course it loses quite a bit of time in these straights. Down towards the bottom section, easily flat out through here. It's about 111 I think through this section, because it's just not got the straight line speed of some of the earlier cars. And we come up towards Diabolica now, gets turned in. It's quite a different line Stig was taking with this car actually. He turns in quite a bit earlier than in some of the other cars, but there is an incredible amount of speed you can get out of it. Up towards the quadruple apex right-hander, and this car can hold an incredibly tight line through this section. It is, I don't think there was actually any braking at all. It was a downshift, maybe a slight lift for that corner, which is really quite incredible. There's so much grip in this car, and then it's just the run to the line, and it is going to struggle down this bit. Straight line speed is pretty poor, and as I said, I suspect it is because of a huge amount of downforce, but there we go. That is the Escort across the line. Now, up next, this is from TJ, who didn't take things very seriously and sent in a Nissan Versa. This one is slightly more powerful than the Escort, 255 horsepower, however it weighs 3,000 pounds. I wasn't expecting this car to be particularly quick. I mean, it's a bit silly, it looks ridiculous. Those wheels, yes, that one. The wheels are sort of hideous, and yeah, it looks rather silly. However, once we get driving it, you'll see why it's just quite, well, very stupid. I think he took cues from the Jelly Car video, or that sort of thing, because the suspension on this is very, 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 very soft. It's not sort of raised, it's just very bouncy, as you can see there, Stig. It's sort of, it kind of nosedives into the sort of any braking area. It's also tripoding. That was the real problem that, well, me and Stig had with this car. Anyone who drives this car will have problems with it tripoding, because yeah, you go around a corner and it lifts a wheel up and then you have no control of it, and Stig managed to roll it. That wasn't intentional at all. That was just trying to get the car to go in a straight line after it lifted a wheel up, and that's what happens. That pretty much sums up the handling of this car, to be honest. It's difficult to drive. It's not quite as hard as the Jelly cars that we had, because it's not high. It is, I don't know if the suspension is like sort of normal ride height, however it is very bouncy. But of course the Stig did get a sensible-ish, kind of as much as sensible lap as you can out of a bouncy Versa. So as we come down towards this sort of bombhole section, I will remember the name of these corners. It's been however many weeks, I don't know, what, week 11 I think. It isn't flat out through here. There's no chance of getting this one flat out through here. Stig did have some interesting offs going over that jump. He didn't roll it again, it was only one roll. There were a few crashes. Too many to include, really. But still, on this lap, things are looking kind of okay as we come up towards the quadruple apex right-hander. This is where the tripoding becomes a real problem, because this is a very, very long corner. The minute the car starts lifting its front wheel off there, you can see your handling all goes, well, wonky, as you would imagine. And you kind of got to slam on the brakes to try and get the car to come down onto the ground again. Around the last corner, no more tripoding for the Versa. And then it's onto the straight. I think straight line speed was pretty good. To be honest, when I drove it, I didn't really pay much attention to speed at all. It was just keep the damn thing on the road. It was pretty much the order of the day for the Versa. But there we go, it is across the line. And the final car, this one is from Daniel. It is a Ford Escort Mark II. I love these cars, these are fantastic cars. This one in particular has got 190 horsepower. It's one of the least powerful cars we've had. I'm not sure if it's the least. I think there was an MR2 that had like 180 or something. But yes, it's not very much power. However, it does only weigh 1,860 pounds, which makes it the lightest car we have had. So, low power, low weight is generally a fairly good recipe for success around here. Now, on to the handling of the car. This is a very good handling car. It's not quite as planted as the Escort Cosworth we had at the start. It's just a little bit slidey when you really push it. As you can see through here, it can't hold quite as tight a line. God, that is a hard sentence to say. Yeah, it's not quite as good handling as the Escort Cosworth, but it is still a very good car. It's just that little bit when you push it, the back end will step out. Straight line speed is pretty good though. It's about 120. I think it's just a little bit less than 120. So yeah, it's a little bit faster than the Escort Cosworth, but not quite as good through the corners. I did quite enjoy this car. It's also the loudest car we've had. It's incredibly loud. I think it does like 9,500 RPM before you need to change up a gear. It's very noisy. It scared the crap out of me the first time I drove it because my TV was quite loud. Anyway, on to the flying lap for the Escort. It's turned into the first corner. As you can see there, it was just wanting to sort of step out a little bit when you kind of put the power down. Then it's down towards the bomb hole section. This one again, it was flat out. It was a little bit quicker. I think it was a couple of miles an hour faster than the Cosworth. However, it is a little bit sort of slidey. You can see there's things sideways over on the jump, even on this fastest lap. You can see how hard he was pushing the car through there. Around Diabolica, it's very fast through there. I think it's the fastest car I've had through that corner. It can carry a lot of corner speed through there. It's around the quadruple apex right-hander. This is where it starts to lose just a little bit. Can't hold quite as tight a line as you could. I got that bit right this time. It's just not quite as fast as the Escort through that section. And then we just run out towards the grass. And then it's just the run to the line. Straight line speed is pretty good. And all around this is a very nice car to drive and very noisy. It's a bit of a ridiculous car. And there we go. The Escort is across the line. So it is time for the leaderboard. And this is the final leaderboard now for Tuner Tuesday, or at least for this challenge of it. And as we can see, the Ford Pinto is still the fastest car we have ever had with a 57.7. Stevie's Escort Cosworth with a 57.9, very quick time there. And Daniel's Mark II Escort just missed out on third by mere fractions. That's what, half a tenth of a second. So yeah, the fastest B-class car is a Ford Pinto. Oh dear. Well, actually no, it's probably the Elise, but we banned them. My Scion held up pretty well actually, still down in 6th. There's a couple of MX-5s in there. The fastest front-wheel drive car we had was a Honda Integra, the Gunnerman's Honda Integra. It's the fastest front-wheel drive car we had. Everything else, I believe, was rear-wheel drive. I think we only had a couple of front-wheel drives and one four-wheel drive. And I don't even think we had a four-wheel drive, actually, because I think the Alpha was rear-wheel drive. So, yes, and then here is down the bottom of the leaderboard. We've got the Versa. Amazingly, it wasn't the slowest car we've ever had. Somehow, the Versa, it did a 1 minute 0.7. That's quite impressive, I have to say. I wonder, with a normal setup, I think that Versa would have been quite quick. Okay, it probably wouldn't have challenged for first, but yeah, I'm really quite impressed by that. And yeah, so there we have the leaderboard. I have to say, it has been a very close competition between first and 14th. I think there's a second in it, and that's with a huge variety of different cars. In 14th is a Ferrari Dino, and first was a Ford Pinto. I mean, look at all the different cars that are sort of in the mix. It's quite impressive. We will, when we get our website sorted out, which Daniel is working on, there will be the leaderboards on there on full, because I can't fit them all in the screen at once. So yes, that is it for Tuner Tuesday. The car you were looking at now is the prize car for first place, Picnax, if I remembered your name correctly. This will be on its way to you. This is a very special first gear racing Prius. It was made by Spoilt Jamie, and I think it's a very cool car. It is B-class. It's actually quite good to drive. I'd never thought I'd say that about a Prius, but it is quite a fun car to drive, and it looks awesome. So yes, that shall be on its way to you in the next day or so, when I remember to gift it on Xbox. But yes, now, the next competition, while we think about it, because otherwise I'll forget, it will be on Silverstone. It will be A-class. We can't quite sort of explain how it's going to work yet, because we aren't sure. It will all become clear next week when we sort of figure things out, because it's going to get a little bit complicated. But yes, it will be A-class. It will be Silverstone. The cars that are going to be banned are the Lotus 211, the Lotus Exige, the Alpha 33 Stradale, and the Ford Escort Mark II, because they are the leaderboard cars for that track, or at least in the top couple of hundred on that leaderboard when I sort of scrolled through it briefly. So yes, that is it for this video, guys. Get building your A-class cars ready. Don't send them to me yet because, well, you'll understand next week. So yeah, until next time, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.